Hey everyone, it is LSID932 on YouTube. Thank you so much for joining me, for joining us. With me today is Life is Reality and Little Black Book 91. We are going to talk to you about Married at First Sight Australia. This is week 4. Week 4. We have more weddings. We thought we were done with the weddings. We thought we were all signed, sealed, delivered, but they are delivering 3 more weddings this week. And gentlemen, thank you so much for joining this week. Life is Reality. Let me know how you feel. What you think about this week?
Hey everyone. Good evening. Good afternoon. I think this episode had a few interesting turnarounds. A couple of the couples. I would say, first of all, is it Tony? Yes, Tony and his wife, the feisty Italian.
Marina.
Marina, yes. They've managed to present a new front. Been a lot more cordial this week. And also, I'd have to say Sierra and Billy. Oh boy.
We'll get there.
Yeah, we'll get there. But yeah, interesting episode as ever. And I also think Adrian is a super villain, which we'll get into.
Yes, yes. Oh, we will get into Adrian, and we'll get it probably last. We'll save the best for last. We'll give him the 30-second promo he wanted. Okay. Little Black Book 91. What do you think about this week? Kojo, you have a moment? Okay, we'll see. We'll see when Kojo has a moment to come in and say his piece. I know he's kind of like somewhere where there's a lot of background noise, and we'll give him a moment to come in when he
Okay.
can. Now, as I said, we have new couples this week. We have 3 weddings this week. That threw me for a loop. 3 weddings is a lot. They usually do 2, but what they did do is they gave us 2 people who were paired up together before last week are now paired up with new people this week. And I'm talking about Lauren and Elliot. They have new spouses and they're doing this all over again. But before we get to them, let's start off with our first new couple, Beth and TJ. Life is Reality. What do you think about Beth and TJ?
Seem to hit it off straight away. Pleasant surprise to see a new couple. I mean, I could understand to a degree giving Elliot someone new and Lauren someone new, but also once you leave the experiment, you shouldn't be able to come back. But yeah, Beth and TJ, I think at the moment they look like they're attracted to each other, look like they're going to work out. What did you think?
I did like them. I liked their personality. My concern is that she has not lived with anyone other than her parents. But they seem to be getting along quite smoothly this week. And I know the word on the streets in Australia is that TJ used to date one of the brides in the show. And it was disclosed at the wedding, but they chose to edit it out.
Okay.
Jamie was that bride that
really
he dated in the past, and it was on his social media and stuff like that. That's the word on the curb in Australia.
Well, the Australian dating scene seems to be quite busy because it's not the first time. This is the third couple where they've actually known each other, dated each other, had relations with each other before actually coming on the show.
But it's large enough to be its own continent. I mean, how is the dating scene so small?
Well, I think because you keep swiping and you get a roster and you keep having so many connections, everyone knows everybody.
Everybody knows everybody. So Beth and TJ, yes, they have they're making strides, they're liking everything, and Beth and T, we'll get to it when we get to that couple, but Beth and TJ's wedding was marred by an outburst between
Hmm.
Ryan and Jackie. We will get to that outburst and everything dealing with that when we get to Ryan and Jackie.
Okay.
So let's get to the next new couple.
Hmm.
We've seen Lauren before, but we
Yep.
haven't seen Clint.
Right.
Clint is a pro golfer. He is into e-commerce. He
Hmm.
wishes to be a gentleman for his wife.
Yep.
What were your thoughts on Clint, their wedding, and the friends' reactions even?
Clint to me seems like he's a well put together dude. However, I do sense that he has some. Uh, he's already decided he has an issue um, with Elliot. If you're in the experiment, it's got to be tough knowing that someone's been with your girl already, even though it didn't work out, and being told what he was told by her about her the first time going on the show. I can see why he would harbor some resentment towards Elliot. But other than them potentially clashing, the couple seemed probably like a better match than Lauren was with Elliot. How about
I
you?
agree with you. I agree with you in that for Lauren, I'm glad she acknowledged that she was kind of like being distant and kind of set off a little bit by Clint. She was not enthusiastic because of what she went through with Elliot. I was quite thankful that at the lunch, he had I think four friends. She had her two friends. She did not have her sister this time, which good call, Lauren. But I think that she shut it down. She did not want a whole bunch of talking about her previous wedding, and she told her friends, this is something new. Let's not mar it with all the conversation about the previous wedding." So, I'm thinking that that was very good on Lauren. She did kind of get over the hump, but she said she's got to see it from Clint.
Yeah, I think it's a double-edged sword with that one. It obviously, if you've been on the experiment before, your new partner has a right to kind of ask the question, well, what happened? And better prepare themselves just in case they're ambushed at one of the dinner parties or anything where someone brings up some information that they weren't privy to, which can obviously cause a
Right.
problem. So yeah, I get it. She doesn't want to relive the horror show that was the first uh, connection, but at the same time, you have to be able to, in order to have gotten over it, you have to get rid of the ill will as well and focus 100% on your current relationship. You've been given a second chance, take advantage of that, get to know the person, and despite how you didn't connect with Elliot the first time, focus on Clint.
Right. And I think Clint's issue, like he said, is how Lauren was treated. He listened to what Lauren had to say, and how Lauren was treated is how he kind of reared up about it. And I think, when we talk about them at the dinner party, he kind of saw it. Everybody saw it firsthand. Everybody saw how Lauren was treated at the dinner party, and it gave credence to what she was saying. But
Yeah.
it was wonderful to see people shocked that she was coming in, but I don't know why they would be shocked that they gave the same grace to Elliot. And on that note, Elliot has a new bride, Veronica.
Mhm. Yeah.
Now, she's not the 20 something category that he wanted, but she is definitely very youthful, very exuberant, doesn't take things too seriously. But she did say something in her promo. She can't stand the BS.
Hmm.
Well, hold on, Veronica. Elliot
Yeah.
got his own chariot of BS pull up behind him. What were your
Mhm.
thoughts of their wedding and everything?
Yeah, as you said, Elliot talked about wanting a 20 something. He got a early 30 something. I think it's a difference in the way that she presents herself, probably more youthful, more young looking. Um, and that's what he really meant. or was actually going after. I think Lauren was a bit too probably mature or even jaded. Plus, she got issue with her sister, like you mentioned. So she's a very hardened person compared to Veronica. But yeah, Elliot is very lucky to be getting a second chance because let's be real. Even though he was upfront about not feeling a connection, he didn't give it a chance. So his mind was made up. He saw enough to make him say, you know what, Lauren is definitely not it for me.
Right. He did. What I appreciated. Okay, let's start with their wedding. Her two friends were the only ones in attendance. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
The friends did say that. Like, why wasn't anyone there at your wedding?
Mm.
Why wasn't anyone there at your wedding?
Yeah.
So he's like, I did this last week.
Mm-hmm.
And the friends had the correct questions for him. It's like, okay, how long did that last? Why did you leave? When did you leave? They had legitimate concerns. So let me let Kojo have a moment. Kojo, you there?
Yeah, sorry, I'm in a shed. But yeah, Veronica and Elliot.
He's there, but he's muted.
Listen, let's be honest. I don't trust Elliot. I can't lie to you. I don't trust him. I can't trust that boy. That apology that he gave. It was too
They told
soon,
you.
too quick, too nice. Like you learned so
You don't
quickly.
hear
You're
him?
You know what I
no.
mean? Like I hear it, but it was just too
Can
quick
he?
for me. That was really.
Kojo.
So I was like, nah, I don't believe the turnaround. I don't
I
believe
can
the
see
change.
I can see
So when he
something
made that change, I
pulsating. I
was
know
like,
he's talking,
this
but
doesn't seem right. This doesn't
it's
feel
muted.
like you're being true and you're being honest. So for me personally, I was like, okay, we'll watch him. Maybe Veronica's had a really good effect on him. I don't know. But for me personally, I was like, Elliot, are you really being true?
I do hear him, and he is broadcasting Life is Reality. I'm not sure why you're not hearing him,
Okay.
but I did hear what he had to say. He did say he doesn't trust Elliot. He doesn't trust what Elliot is saying in his apology, and that he's made a turnaround. Um,
Okay.
but yeah, her friends definitely were, trying to warn her, and yes, she went into this wholeheartedly, as she should, and she got an awakening at the dinner party when Elliot tried to, tell Lauren, you don't remember because you had too many drinks that night. So Veronica, she's going to accept his apology. Hey, that's all we can do, because we can't just kick him out after the first few days. Let's let him move in together. Let her see the rest that is Elliot.
Right. But she did also say at the at the elimination, she did say that she was incredibly turned off by what she saw, how he handled everything. So she is also holding him account for his behavior too.
Right, she definitely is. Um, so we covered those three. Let's go to someone that I don't trust the turnaround is as clear cut as they want us to believe. Tony and Marina. I don't think Marina has made that turnaround as quickly as they say. I think she just staying on mute. But she did have a little flare up with the group at the commit me ceremony. It's like, why y'all laughing? Why y'all laughing? That's not a joke. He's fist bumping me. He's headlocking me. And there's like, it's endearment. Even Ryan Jeff had to say, hey, we have a special handshake. It's okay. It's okay to show affection in a different way. But I need Marina to more say, how would you like Tony to treat you like a lady? How does that look for you? Because it seems like he's trying to be nice, but she doesn't like that kind of nice. Kojo, you're in a position to talk about Tony and Marina? Okay. Life is reality. I'm gonna let you go.
Okay. Yeah. Listen, it just seemed like Marina got up on the right side of bed this week. She is hot-headed at best, and it does seem like Tony's always trying to either walk on eggshells, appease her, or just be nice so it doesn't flare up. But no matter what he does and how he approaches it, Marina has a short fuse. So maybe this is just a temporary thing where she just, like you said, put herself on mute, didn't start too much this week. Definitely a lot less animosity than the previous episodes. Do I have hope for them? No, because I haven't seen enough of this more subdued or nicer side of her to be convinced that it's going to be a change. So, yeah, we'll see as time tells. But I personally don't understand why they're still on the show. Marina said no. I'm not sure why Tony hasn't said no. He needs to.
Hey, I think this is an adventure for Tony. He's not on the fishing boat. And for Marina, yeah, now she's, okay kind of with Tony, but she's still going after the crowd for how she expects to be treated. Kojo, what are your thoughts on Tony and Marina?
Yeah, hopefully you can hear me. It's not too loud in my background. But yeah, no. I think with Tony Marina, the biggest issue is that, I think she just doesn't take time. She seems to be in a rush of everything. And I think that's where she misses her step. If she just take a little bit more time, she'll actually see things in a different way. Now, they actually made some progress, right? It's just that she fires off the handle really, really quickly without really understanding the whole landscape. She only has one way of seeing things, and that's her way. To the point that even when people are telling you like, hey, okay, for instance, the fist bump situation or the headlock situation, right? If you're not feeling it, there's a way to also address it. That like, hey, Tony, look, I don't mind it once in a while, but like, I don't want to be a bro. You know what I mean? I'm your wife. I want to be loved. I want to be cared about. Sometimes when we're busy telling people what they're doing wrong, we're not telling them what they can be doing right. So it always feels negative. So, she just has to spin it a little bit like, hey, look, Tony, I don't mind you doing it once in a while. I know that's your way of connecting with me. Right. But I want to be treated like a lady. I want to be feminine. I want to be my, soft girl. I want to be able to, I like that kind of stuff with you. So, more of that would be very helpful. See, that changes things because now you're saying it's okay to be you, but I want to let you know there's other things I want more from you. And I think a lot of times we get used to people telling us how to reduce something without actually increasing something. So you're always thinking it's negative. And actually a negative can be turned into a positive here. Hey, Tony, no worries. You being you is good, accept being you. I just want to see more, I want to have more hugs, more cuddles. I want more TV time. I want more of us to spend times in a date. And that will be a positive. I think she needs to learn that skill ASAP because her words and her vibe can be very critical and it can be very, very heavy. And I hope the experts pick up on that again to say, hey, look, just some more things you can improve on. Because this episode here, she wasn't that bad, but just you not shouting, but you getting at everybody when they're trying to tell you that maybe your reaction is a little bit off. Yeah.
Yeah, she was, still nagging at the crowd. And I felt like she was trying to hold in like, okay, I have to keep quiet. But I'm not going to keep quiet about everything. And there is a way. We all have to teach people how to treat us. And while I see her scolding Tony as to what he's not doing well, I don't see her teaching him how to treat her. It's like, give me the fist bump, but then take the back of my hand and kiss it. I mean, you've got to teach him because he's a stranger.
I'm going to say you have to be careful with that because her method of communication, she may feel like she's teaching him, but in actual fact, she could be trying to scold him. And, she's in danger of just not appreciating who she has in front of him. I get it. Like she has her own views and her own experience in the relationship, but she has to also understand that he has feelings too. And if he can't even articulate himself, then that's a red flag. And it's not because he doesn't want to. It seems like he's tried a lot. And he's even tried to accommodate for what she is going through in her experiences. He validates it, but it gets too much. It's too overwhelming. She's too overpowering. She's too domineering. And, I'm going to say she's also too jaded. She needs to, if she wants to find love, she needs to have a much lighter heart and a lot more of an optimistic approach to the relationship. Otherwise, it's not going to work. All this mithering, critiquing, complaining, it's just not going to lead to a relationship where he feels like he's going to feel heard or respected. So she needs to tone it down, and she needs to have a lot more self-reflection and self-awareness. She needs to be open to feedback, similar to what we were saying last week about her. But like I said, on this week, she seemed to have gotten up on the right side of bed, and she wasn't as erratic and hostile as we've seen her previously. So I'll give her credit for that. But she definitely needs to, keep this new her going for as long as possible. So we'll see if it's a struggle or not, and if she reverts back to her mithering, critical and hostile ways.
Right. The only thing is I see Marina is like only taking feedback from the experts. And I'm wondering if too it comes with the the young people got nothing to teach me. I was very upset last week when she called Paul, a little boy. And I feel like she sometimes feels like she has nothing to learn from the young people there, but the experts, have a certain qualification, so she'll listen to them. And I'm wondering, but you can always learn from all people all the time.
Yeah, that's a very valid point. Now, to me, that comes across as I'll listen to the boss at my job, but I'm not going to listen to my man when I get home, right? And that's not going to work. And even when the experts do give her feedback, she's able to receive it better, which is a good point. But implementation is key. We've seen over the few weeks, even though they've held her to account, she still continued behaviors that are detrimental. So, she's going to need to listen to the group as well, because they see her more than the experts do, right? So, she's the oldest one there. So what she's now saying, okay, well, I don't need to listen to any of you because I'm older than you. It's very condescending, and it just shows that she's not able to receive feedback. She feels like, if she feels attacked and everyone's ganging up on her just because they've got something to say, or just because they're laughing together or things like that, it's really a personal problem that she needs to resolve. It's not the group, it's her.
Right. And she's even older than Tony, so it's like, will she listen to him? Okay, we'll give her the positive in that she did listen to the experts. But is there anything else you guys want to talk about with Tony and Marina?
No, I'm good.
Okay, so we'll go on to someone who needs to be telling the experts exactly what they're going through. Jackie and Ryan. Y'all, they're confusing me. The incident at the wedding for Beth and TJ, I didn't like how Jackie behaved, using that as a teachable moment for her husband, trying to teach him in public in front of everyone. That is a conversation for the car ride home. Okay? This was just too much for me. Jackie making it about herself. Ryan learning that Jackie reached out to Jeff, another groom, asking him to, chat with her, and put in the caveat there, don't bring your wife. Now, chatting with Jeff is okay. Chatting with anyone else there is okay. It's when you say, but don't bring your wife, is where it starts to get sketchy. And it seems like Jackie doesn't want to be held accountable for her actions. And then all of a sudden, in front of the experts, everything is hunky dory. What is going on with this couple? Kojo, you want to tackle Brian and Jackie?
Yeah, man. I mean, listen. I think they told us last week they're gonna put on a united front. Because today I was so surprised Ryan said what he said. I thought I'd never hear the words out of Ryan's mouth that I'm trying to be a better man for her, in the way that he said it. He said it almost in a tone that she said she wanted him to be almost controlling. Listen, I think both of them recognize that they're both problematic. I also recognize that both of them know they're actors. Can I be honest with you? Both of them know the actors, right? Because Jackie did an interview the other day talking about how Ryan's an actor, and I said, "Babe, you're an actor too," because the way that you behaved in that wedding, it was crazy. That's you're acting. So either that or you're both bipolar. But the reality of the situation is that both of these people are individuals. Struggle with the power. They have a power struggle, and their struggle with the relationship is that if they can't get over the power struggle, the relationship will never last, because that's where they're at right now. At the moment where they're at, it's like, you don't see me, I don't see you. You don't hear me, I don't hear you. You don't get me, I don't get you. And then it's like suddenly they make up. And now here's what they're making up: they're having sex. Okay, they're having sex, and that is clouding the reality of the situation, and why it feels like it's getting better. It's not getting better, it's just sex. And so until they take the sex off the table and start really working how to conflict resolute, they're not gonna have no issues. Now, I don't want to say anyone's worse than the other. I want to say that both of them are problematic and bring stuff to the table. Jackie specifically on the last episode was problematic. Now, she actually breached the relationship by sending that text to Jeff. Crazy work. Crazy work. And I'm not just saying that because she's a woman. I'm saying it's crazy work because anybody who does that and then tries to play as if they don't know what the heck that happened, and I was just doing it because I want to reach out and I needed support, is somebody who's willing to probably do it again and use it to utilize it as a power move. It was a power move. She wanted to hurt Ryan. She wanted Ryan to feel it like she has previously done. She's vindictive in that sense. That Ryan's is a doofus in the way he behaves. She's vindictive. So it's like he does something stupid, and then she's like, I don't know another way to balance the scales. I need to get him back. And so that text was a reach out, because why was it Jeff? Because, well, as he said, Jeff was the one that said it was closer to her type, number one. Number two, because she has no connection with Jeff. So even now, when people are questioning, they're like, why Jeff? Because she's not crazy. She's smart. She's making it look like she's crazy so that you can be like, I don't understand why Jackie would do that. No, I understand why. It's gameplay. She's trying to nuke Ryan. And so Ryan's like, and I don't know if he clocked it, but he's like so hurt. He don't want to get touched on the table today. He's like, just leave me alone, etc. And then she tried to teach him a moment at the wedding with the vows. Her constant prowls is that she has to try and teach him something and mold him into something. The problem is, whenever you try to mold and teach somebody incorrectly by doing it where you're forcing them into a fire, they are going to turn into a Frankenstein. And Frankenstein killed his creator. So just want to let her know that. Now with Ryan, he needs to actually learn how to be conflict resolute in a way of dealing with managing her temperament, in a way of, like, when she does her wild things, it's so hard, but he's got to maintain the composure, exit the conversation, and come back later on. Because whenever he allows it to get, it doesn't get loud or anything crazy, but it just gets to a place where you just need to just chill a little bit and readdress it a little bit later on, so she can reset herself, because she's mad in the moment, and you're not going to get past a madman when they're in the moment. You know what I mean?
Good points. Good points. We did have a question. For those of you who are trying to watch Married at First Sight Australia, just search MAFS Australia on YouTube, and you could certainly see all the episodes posted there under different channels. Life is Reality. What are your thoughts on Jackie and Ryan? Are they both clouded in their way of thinking? Does she really need to be dipped 100 times before she forgives him for dropping her at the wedding? What's going on with them?
For me, Jackie is just an awkward person to deal with. I'm sorry. I'm gonna tell it what I'm gonna call it what I see. You know, like she is awkward. She is dramatic. She is very disparaging. Man, Ryan is in for a tough ride while he's in a relationship with her, boy. That's gonna be crazy. Now, Ryan is no saint, obviously. Everybody has their hang-ups, everyone has their pros and cons. Ryan puts his foot in his mouth. Like, he says some things where it's just like, dude, come on, man. Like, you need to understand that you can't say everything that you think, right? Everything's not going to be taken the same way that you think it is. But I gotta say, Jackie is fragile, temperamental. So when he does put his foot in his mouth, she's ready to pounce on it. And yes, there is a lot of resentment in terms of get back. Like, she wants to get back every lick, every infringement. And as you saw, she's got a long list, a spreadsheet of infringements in the 3 weeks or so that they've been together, right? That meltdown at the wedding was completely self-centered. It was completely designed to sabotage another couple's happiness. All right. Like you said, it could have been a conversation in the car. And also, if she wanted to reach out to someone, first of all, you don't talk to Jeff, you talk to Jeff's wife, right? And then the other thing is, if you were going to speak to somebody like Jeff, you mingle at the commitment ceremonies. You know, you all have a drink, you all have a catch up. You know, at the dinner parties, you can talk across the table. Why was there a need to reach out and, you know, make contact and say, listen, don't tell your wife? Jeff did the right thing. He could have ended up in a lot of hot water. He instantly told his wife about the situation and shut that down immediately. So Jackie got rejected. Jeff didn't want to be a pawn in her game against Ryan. And, you know, she tried to double down and justify why she did it. You know, she said she needed someone to reach out to, someone to talk to. She said she feels she cannot handle Ryan alone. Very, very detrimental statement, because Ryan's sitting right there and he's like, listen, you reached out to another guy. That's a betrayal in itself. But to now throw me under the bus and say you don't think you can manage. We were literally on the couch 5 seconds ago and we were talking about how we were turning it around. And then now you're being put on the hot seat about your contacting Jeff, you know? Yeah, I just think Jackie's a mess. I saw her live too. No accountability. Said Ryan's an actor. Yeah, I think, you know, she's not an actor. I think she really is like this. There is no act. I think she's very erratic, very self-centered, very soft. Just a nightmare to date. So I don't see them working out long term. I think hopefully they decide to put each other out of this this misery of an experiment for both of them. The sex, if they are having it, it's not enough to keep your relationship going. It's only going to last as long as the intimacy does. And there's nothing else connecting them. So that's my take.
Jacqueline leaves a good comment here in the chat that, you know, none of the women kind of liked Jackie. So she had to turn to one of the men for support. But again, the man she turned to was one, as Kojo said, is to take a little dig at Ryan because she placed him high on her attractive list. So the women really don't seem to have a relationship with Jackie at all. So it still would be respectable, as you said, at the mixer while Rye and Jeff are talking, to say, hey, you know, can I speak to you guys? Rye, I'd like to get Jeff's opinion. And y'all stand there talking, because Rye can be there without, you know, her inputting, and you still talk to Jeff. But, you know, Jackie, I don't understand. I know it's a game. I think it's a game you're playing for the camera. And I really don't like it. It doesn't bode well for their relationship.
Just one quick thing, actually.
Yep.
She did also say part of the reason why she reached out to Jeff was so that Jeff could tackle Ryan, right? She could use Jeff to say what she wants to say to Ryan, but feels that he's not receiving. So using them as a pawn. Keep everything in your own relationship. Use the experts if you have to, but don't go to another couple or another husband in the experiment. That's crazy.
There you go. And to handle him, they can't live with you for him to handle him. What, on just the commitment and the dinner parties? Come on now. And it makes Ryan seem even worse than being portrayed. And maybe he could be, but all we seeing is Jackie's erratic behavior, and I don't like it. And in moving from Ryan and Jackie, Ryan and Jeff were thrown into the mix of their relationship. Rye confronted Jackie at the wedding for Beth and TJ. I don't think that was the right place. I think she was playing a little bit for the camera. Maybe she needed support from the group. But Jeff and Rye were really coming at Jackie at that wedding. They decided to stay, you know. All the couples except, you know, one decided to completely stay. But I thought time and place. What is your thought, Kojo, on Rye and Jeff? Oh, and they finally got intimate, but Jeff still looks halfway cold. I'm sorry.
Yeah, listen, I mean, shout out to them. They had sex finally. So sorry, they had relations. Sorry, finally. So shout out to them. Yeah, no. Listen, I understand. I think Rye is somebody who doesn't like confrontation. So I think she used the impetus of the group to be able to nail it. You know what I mean? I mean, listen, hey, sometimes if you need a bit of support and a bit of help, you ask for backup, and just what she did. She made sure it was in the group setting. I mean, probably wasn't the right setting in terms of group setting. Probably would have been better at the dinner. But I think she just couldn't wait. But I think she should have waited. The wedding wasn't the right scenario to probably bring it up. But I think because I think Jackie was now displaying certain behaviors that were where she was trying to blame Ryan. I think she had finally opened her eyes to see it. And I think also the group also now saw it. Because I think before this, the group was like, okay, yeah, Jackie's a bit crazy. Ryan's obviously annoying and rude and this and that and that. But, if Ryan was just to treat a bit, we'll get a different Jackie. No, they saw it for what it was. This ain't a Ryan. This isn't a Ryan alone. This is a Jackie and Ryan are problematic. And I think just Ryan just wanted just to get her thoughts out, just really finally be able to say what she needs to say about it. She was hurt. She was pissed off. She was annoyed, and she did not understand why it was Jeff. I think that's a more painful thing for Rye. I think myself and you also will see it because we're game players. But when you're actually in it like that for Rye, she doesn't know what list Jeff was on. She doesn't know what number Jeff was on. She doesn't know if he's on the list. All she sees is Jackie trying to necessarily throw a spanner in the works. And that can be very disconcerting because now she's got to think, did Jeff have a conversation with her and make her think this way? Remember, this is very similar to what we said about Married at First Sight. If you ain't got all the facts, don't go and say something in someone's relationship because this is what happens. Now people are starting to think about, did Jeff do something? Did Jeff say something? Why is she randomly texting you? Imagine explaining this to your partner. If this wasn't TV, imagine explaining this to your partner that somebody you don't really speak to has suddenly messaged you saying, I need to talk to you and not to your partner. And you would look at them like they're crazy. They told you, I have no clue. What do you have no clue? They just suddenly message you out the blue? You're lying. We'd all think that because that's naturally a thing, but we've seen it on national television. When people are crazy, this is it. You know what I mean?
That is so true. We'll be like, you must know something. You must have given them some indication that you're willing to have a conversation without your significant other. Life is reality. What do you think?
Yeah, Jeff still isn't into it. And I think actually Reed did the right thing by confronting Jackie in front of everyone because it would have obviously led to a very hostile situation one-on-one. So I think doing it in a setting where everybody can witness, be privy to what took place. And also it may force Jackie to react in a more sensible fashion, because we've seen her meltdowns. Like, who's going to trust how she's going to behave in private, So, as I said, Jeff was a pawn in Jackie's game, but I will say he was a very stand-up guy for not responding to it and calling it out for what it was, and that was where they were united, Jeff and Ree. So they stood together on that. The fireworks haven't gone off yet, despite the intimacy and despite the time they've been together. I'm not sure it's going to actually turn around for them. Yeah, but time will tell, I guess. But I just don't see it working out for them at this point.
Maybe that was the catalyst for them getting closer and feeling comfortable to be so intimate, that, how he handled the situation was like, we are a united front. We are in this as a marriage. And maybe that was the catalyst to get them a whole lot closer. Jackie will not break us. Okay?
Yeah. Or it could be that, someone reached out and it could have potentially been seen as, there was an ulterior motive there. So in an attempt to not get him distracted, that also could have led to the intimacy,
There you go.
Yeah.
You are so right. Is there anything else for Rye and Jeff that we could talk about?
I'm good.
Okay, let's move on to a non-problematic couple. Another one, Jamie and Dave. The only problem I have is that Jamie says the same thing every week, that he's got her back, she's got his back. I'm wondering about your front and your sides too. Okay, they're just saying the same thing. I'm hoping it is a sign that they are having, a great strides in their relationship and keeping this marriage going. What are your thoughts this week about Jamie and Dave?
Yeah, listen, I'll try and keep it brief because the wind is blowing out madness. But listen, my only concern is a little bit of a concern, nothing crazy, a little bit of a concern. They asked her, is she in love with Dave? And I'd rather like listen, I had no problem with her answer. It was the pause. Like, this is why you pausing. Just say you just say, I've got love for him, I'm growing in love. But she had to pause, and that told me that I felt like there's something still missing. I tell you what's missing. She needs a bad boy. She likes to like. I think she needs somebody that doesn't pray and is gonna be in a church but is on fire. I'm telling you, like, she needs a little bit of that spunk, and I don't think Dave gives it to her. You know what I'm saying? No, I'm not saying he's bad. I'm saying I don't think he has enough of that spunk in terms of like the edge. I like to call it the edge. You know what I mean? Like where it's like a little bit. I don't say rude, but like you get a little bit of danger from him. Dave is a very friendly giant, and I think she feels safe and comfortable. But Jamie's probably got some work to do. I think she likes a little bit of toxicity. I think she likes a little bit of toxicity. Okay. Because she hasn't reached that I love you state, but y'all are macking and jacking for the last 4 weeks. Y'all been talking, y'all have been connected, and you're not in love yet. I said, something ain't quite right about this. Something's off. And I think Jamie is not as committed as she's making it out. I think she's also taking a position of high horse in the group. So now she can't even topple them forward if she wants to. So to be honest, this is why I would tell everybody, shut your mouth and stop talking about other people's relationship, because when your time comes, your time will come, and it's going to look a bit peak when you're trying to change positions. So I'm just saying, I'm not saying it's definite. I'm just saying that I think Dave lacks a little of that, what she actually really wants. But she can grow to like what Dave is and love him. But I don't know. I feel like I feel like she's got a little cheat in her. I think she got a little cheat in her. I think she got a little. If she stays with Dave, I think she's the type to have a little bit of a cheat. Never tell him. Come back to her husband. Love him. I just feel like she got that type in her until she finds the right kind of bad boy.
Oh, well, that's interesting. Well, we do see Dave flip off a little bit, but it's only at the dinner parties, when he has a point to make, when he had to pull Ryan back by his bootstraps, when he had to pull Elliot up. He shows flare-ups, but maybe it's not enough intensity for Jamie. What do you think life is reality?
Yeah, I definitely can see that angle. I can see where Coach is coming from. I think with the look he has, tall, tattooed up, piercings, all that stuff. I think he ticks a lot of the boxes for her, maybe physically, aesthetically, but he comes across as too much of a nice guy, like a Captain Saver, right? And but he's a protector. That's what he's shown me. Like he seems to want to protect his wife, and if he hears anything spoken about derogatory, particularly about other women or anything, he's quick to stand up for them, right? Even if it means going against the guys, he doesn't care, right? So that's where I think she feels protected. I think when they say they've got each other's back, they both have a similar disposition. They like to critique the other couple's relationships. They like to act as if they are, well, to be honest, they do have the best connection so far. So yeah, because they've taken it to levels where other couples have struggled. And to be honest, they haven't clashed, they haven't argued. They haven't really had any real bumps in the road yet.
Okay, I was going to say the next couple I'm bringing up seems to be smooth sailing as well. Next couple I'm bringing up, Karina and Paul. They seem to be smooth sailing. What say you, life is reality?
Yeah, definitely. I think one of the things that helps them is the fact that they had that connection before. So they're at a more advanced stage in their relationship. The attraction for them has grown. Any hesitancy about, spinning the block has been eradicated, and they seem to be growing closer and closer. And unlike previous couple, they actually focus on their relationship a lot more. Other than the Marina incident with Paul, where that just seemed to be very personal from Marina. She didn't like anyone speaking up for Tony. So other than that, Paul and Karina have been fine the whole way through. So yeah, I actually see them lasting, working out. Be very surprised if there's a bump in the road that changes their trajectory.
I think the honesty box may be the only thing that may derail them, or not derail, but just throw them off their square a little bit, because we know based on this show that going on the couples retreat and the honesty boxes are some things that are really challenging the couples. What do you think, Kojo? How do you think about Paul and Karina?
Well, there's nothing going wrong at the moment for Paul and Karina, so shout out to them. They are a leading couple, and I hope that, you know, Paul and Karina. I know Paul's been a little bit more talkative for the guys this time round. I need him to shut up. I need him to shut up. I need him to keep quiet. I need to focus on his marriage. Listen, I keep saying it. This show will ruin your relationship before you even start. Paul and Karina are on a really good trajectory. I need Karina to tell Paul, just tap him on the side of the head, say, Paul, shut it. Yeah. Don't interfere with their situation, because it's done it one or two times. I see it, I hear it, but it's like you don't know their relationship. And unless you're going to have a private conversation, leave it alone. All that public stuff that gets done on the dinner table, all that kind of, don't involve yourself. We are the quiet couple. Even if you don't get screen time, keep quiet, because if you really are here for the marriage and you want to see it successful and last, shut it. Because the more you talk about other people's couple situation, the more heat comes on your relationship. Do you know why? Because someone in your relationship who talks too much about other people's relationship, your partner looks at you and goes, but you didn't get that right either last time. So how are you talking about them? You didn't even listen to me last time. So how are you talking? Don't become that person. Keep quiet. Listen, watch them, you know, and you talk to people in private, one-to-one. You counsel them, you coach them in private. I don't like the talking on the table stuff. So, but other than that, they are honestly a gem. And they are, you know, they have nice chemistry. You know, they look good together. Like, I like seeing them on my screen. Like, I you know, I like seeing them on my screen. I just want Paul to just rein it in, shut it. Okay, don't talk. You're talking too much.
So according to Kojo, hush could lead to happiness. Okay, if you hush, you could be happy and coast through this. And I think I would love to see this in Married at First Sight. I do love that we have this couple, Paul and Karina, and we do have Jeff and Rye, that did date previously, and they were matched. So we see Karina and Paul really digging in that, you know, we matched for a reason. And even though it didn't work out the first time, the second time around is certainly working for them, especially with the experts. And I do agree with both of you gentlemen that Karina and Paul are kind of working within the process and working on their relationship, and they could certainly make it beyond this. Now, one couple not quite working on the relationship, not working on their connection. One half is seen playing footsies under the table and giving a little smirk. Billy and Sierra. Sierra went hanging out with Athena one day, and that evening she had dinner plans with Athena's husband, Adrian, but failed to tell Athena. Not only that, she apologized to Athena for having dinner and opening up to her husband, but Sierra did not talk to her husband, Billy, or apologize to Billy for what was going on. And this led to commitment ceremony this week. Both Billy and Sierra said leave. Sierra says maybe she made a mistake, and Billy's like, no. We're not staying here another week. We can all both pack our bags and go home. I didn't like Billy saying the whole wife swap thing, but I understand where he was coming from with it, but he shouldn't have said it. But Billy, I appreciate you standing firm, saying, I'm not going to stay here and watch you potentially open up to Adrian again. What are your thoughts, Life is Reality, on Billy and Sierra?
Yeah, I knew this was coming. Like, I knew this was coming from weeks ago. And when Sierra started showing attention to Adrian, I think they messaged that first or something like that. And then obviously trying to hook up footsies under the table, all those things, I knew it would potentially escalate. Now, it's very telling that she felt the need to apologize to Athena and basically not to Billy, right? That to me says she kind of doesn't feel like she owes Billy an explanation, apology, anything. It's only when pressed by the experts that she actually showed some type of reaction towards Billy. But even then, she was very hesitant to actually apologize or say, you know, take any accountability for what she had done. they pressed her. They asked her, "Are you more attracted to Adrian than you are to Billy?" Listen, she is. She just didn't want to admit it because she knew the heat that she would get. And yes, the wife swap comment, I can see why Billy actually said it, because his wife is actually playing footsie under the table with another dude and going to meet him for dinner, bringing Tony along under the guise of, okay, well, if it's 3 people, then it doesn't look as bad. But really, she's not there for Tony. She's there to meet Adrian, right? So would she probably make a better match with Adrian? Yes, she definitely finds him more attractive. And he's had his struggles with Athena, so they would probably make a better connection. As for Billy and Athena, that could probably be a better connection too. So I can see why Billy would say that. Maybe it wasn't appropriate given the situation where all the couples are trying to work on or supposed to be working on their own marriages. But I can see his frustration. His wife hasn't opened up to him. She's openly confessed to the group that she finds it easier to speak to Adrian. She's even told the expert she finds it easier to speak to Adrian than she does to her own husband. Who's the one she's been spending time with? Billy. So why is she finding it easier to speak to Adrian? They don't know each other like that. Adrian's got his own marriage. Anyway, so to me, it's very telling. I'm so glad that Billy can see through all of the word salad, and he actually can see the distance between them now. And he reached a point where there's no going back. So I can see why he wrote leave. I can see why she wrote leave. But listen, Adrian's not coming with you because he chose to stay. Right. And he said in front of everyone that he's more attracted to Athena than he is to Sierra. So if that doesn't tell you enough information of where you actually are and how you've actually jeopardized your relationship with Billy, then nothing will. And I think that's actually why she felt the regret. The fact that Adrian is still staying in the experiment with his wife, and Billy has chosen to leave the experiment. That's the only reason why she regrets it. And now you can go off and, you can watch Adrian fall or prosper in his relationship. And ultimately, you've set Billy free now. So you can't play footsie under the table no more. No more sneaking away to dinner. Your whole game's been blown up, Sierra. So it's time to go home.
So that is very interesting because Billy opened up to her first. He opened up emotionally. He said on the couch that he has told her some things that he hasn't even shared with his mother. And he's a self-professed mother's boy. So the fact that he has opened up to her, yet she and Adrian apparently are sharing with each other and they are closed to their own spouses. What is that saying, Kojo? What is going on here?
Yeah, listen, man, this is a sad case, this one. I mean, Elsa and myself, we spoke about this at the very beginning of the season, that the problem that we're going to have is Sierra is going to be a little bit closed off, and whether she'll have respect because also of her job and what she does and everything as well. First and foremost, she lacks respect for Billy. Okay, she lacks respect because she does not respect his emotional stance, because she also does not understand that language. So that's why she gravitated towards Adrian. If you notice that both her and Adrian lack the understanding when it comes to emotive language, and being empathetic. They lack it. So they found each other. Now the situation with obviously Sierra, she knew and here's the thing about this as well. Both her and Adrian deserve each other, because both of them are very intentional with their disrespect. Adrian, first and foremost, and I know I'm going to cost him, but I'm just saying it because they were joined. But Adrian did the exact same thing when he did it with Athena, knowing that he left the show because of the promo, and then didn't want to apologize, but made it out to be the issue of Athena. Sierra intentionally, I want to say this now, she intentionally did not apologize to Billy. She does not believe that she did anything wrong because she does not respect him, so she does not see him. So along the lines of the relationship, as it got to this stage, this was always going to happen because of the way that she connects herself emotionally. But it started from early. And I remember we said it, Elsie, about a couple of weeks ago, about the way that she dealt with the issue of him and the way he told his story, that she struggled in a sense of how to comfort him. People like that, when they haven't learned that particular skill, find people who are emotional irritating. And it's even more irritating that it's a woman to a man. It's even more irritating because the idea of masculinity is tied in with how do you express yourself emotionally. So this was always going to be a case of disrespect. So when she wasn't apologizing to him, it's not that she didn't know how to apologize. She didn't want to. You know what I'm saying to you? Because she blames Billy. And the thing is that this is what's very difficult about trauma. You start blaming the person in front of you for things that you've experienced in your lifetime. Maybe she didn't feel safe. Maybe she didn't feel covered. Maybe she didn't feel like she was loved enough. Because why was she crying about the wife swap comment? Maybe you know that you was out here with Adrian misbehaving. Why are you crying about the comment about the wife swap? Could it be that it touched you in your wound? Yes, I said.
Yes, it did, because she's being discarded again, like she was discarded in a traumatic experience.
There you go. So there is deeper aspects of Sierra that could not be released. It was released more with Adrian, but the problem that she doesn't realize is Adrian is not committed to you. So it's easy to share something with somebody who's not committed to you. But when he commits to you, you're going to find the same issues that you have. In fact, you're going to have worse problems. In fact, you're going to find yourself having to hide most parts of yourself in order to survive this relationship. It'll be hot and heavy. It will be, but you'll find that you'll be broken even more so at the very end. And so these two, Adrian and Sierra, might have found solace in each other, but none of them were growing. And that's why they found each other. So Sierra leaving at the very end with Billy, I felt sorry for Billy because he did try. This is a man that actually opened up, and I'm not even trying to big him up. He actually opened up. He did something that a lot of people don't want to do, man or woman, and told a real story. So it's almost like a slap in the face. But this is a lesson for him to learn. Don't go backwards, go forwards, because it was the right thing to do to share. And now you feel more confident. You see, when you told the story first, you might have been feeling like, I need that comfort, I need that reassurance, I need that validation. Next time you tell it, you're gonna be like, no, this is my story. I know what it is. And it projects more as confidence rather than it being looking like it's a sub story. I'm not saying he was necessarily trying to be that, but that's how it's going to come out when you first kind of say it, because you're not as confident about your story. So I felt for him. Here's what I don't like. The experts failed. Importantly failed. When you are addressing a number one issue, you don't address the second issue and conflate it with the first one. If you're addressing that Sierra did not do what she was supposed to do and she was disrespectful by not apologizing, follow that line of thought. You didn't finish it before the comment got made about the wife swap, and then you switched it onto Billy. So what ended up actually happening was that now Billy could not be validated and Billy cannot argue now. So Billy can't go back to the argument and say, but wait, hold on, what about, because then he looks immature and then he looks like somebody who doesn't actually care. So they actually sold him down the river by doing that. And I felt for him again. And I said, this was really bad by the experts. How are you going to do that to the brother? You didn't finish the first subject. You know what I mean? So yeah.
Totally agree. It's like the experts silenced Billy. Billy had a legitimate complaint or legitimate issue here that was, predicated by her actions. And it felt like they were trying to deflect and say, well, Billy, you did wrong here. And it's like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Billy did address it, or as we saw in the edit, Billy did address it very nicely and like, hey, yeah, I'm not going to stay. I'm going to leave. And this is just not where I wish to be. Billy did address it instead of, as you said, if he went whoa whoa whoa, it would be seen as juvenile and complaining. And speaking of juvenile behavior, y'all, let's get to the last couple, Adrian and Athena. So this week, the cast had to do promos. There was a second promo. Adrian was left out, y'all. Because Adrian was left out, this is what we heard from him. He was not included in the promo, so he was not going to stay. He packed some of his stuff. He put his ring on the counter and left. Athena walked in to see that. She contacted him. He said he needs to be in the promo or else he ain't coming back. He went home. So he did come back for the dinner party, trying to act like he deserves an apology because he was left out of stuff. And then he still had dinner with Sierra. So the experts were there and holding his feet to the fire, but I think the fire wasn't hot enough. Adrian is allowed to still skate by. Life is reality. What was your thought with this, Adrian and Athena?
Adrian is a villain. There's no doubt about it. Sorry. So what he proved is he's not there for the relationship with Athena. He's there for the TV time, the promo, and what that could potentially do for him after the show's aired. All right. That's what that was. How can the show decide you're not going to be a part of their promo and that results in you taking your ring off and leaving, not wanting to answer the phone and come back and talk or anything, then, as Kojo and yourself said, he comes back demanding an apology from Athena for something. Yeah, this guy's crazy. This guy is a master villain, deflector, whatever you want to call it. He takes no accountability whatsoever. And I think he doesn't take accountability because in his mind, he's straightforward. You know, if he doesn't like something, he says, I don't like it, you know, and then it's up to you to deal with it, right? But I guarantee you, if he had made that wife swap comment that Billy made, yeah, let's just say Sierra would have probably been excited and a bit giddy by that. All right. Adrian doesn't have any redeeming qualities for me from what I saw this week, and it's been building up for a while. I think his connection with Athena is purely intimacy based. Doesn't see a life with her afterwards. Doesn't really think about her child, and how he's going to parent that child or the responsibility required. I don't think he's even thinking that far ahead. I think he's literally just going with the flow on the experiment until it's time to go home. And it's all about career opportunities, maybe modeling opportunities, TV appearances, things like that for him. Definitely not the marriage, though.
Right, like, you know, we know Jackie brought out her list about what she didn't like about Ryan, but Athena brought out the letter that she wrote for Confessions Week that he did not participate in. And she made the comment that she is here missing out on the milestones in her son's life for this man. And when she said that, I was like, yeah, it's a man that I don't think she wants her son learning character traits from. And I thought she was going to skedaddle out of there because, hey, I don't want to be with you. But Athena's in a particular predicament. She likes Adrian, she thinks he's attractive, but she doesn't like how he treats her. She doesn't like how he feels. But when it's good, it's good, and when it's bad, it's bad. But I see her just dimming behind her eyes. What are your thoughts about Adrian and Athena, Kojo?
Yeah, listen, first and foremost, Athena, I need you to do what you did at the very end and stick with it. Choose your child and you first. You should have done that weeks ago, because you know that Adrian was not on it. He was trying to grow into it. Listen, a man doesn't need to grow into it. If he wants it, he wants it. If he doesn't want it, he doesn't want it. I mean, this whole growing into the situation about trying to see if he can love your kids, he ain't gonna love them. It is what it is. But you want to stay in the process for a little bit and see if you can, because you find him super attractive. So you give him more leeway than you would give other men. I get it. We've all been there. You learn your lesson. You don't go back. Okay, you don't repeat the same mistake again. Now on to Adrian. On a realist thing with Adrian, he's immature. Honestly, he's immature. And actually, he shows himself up. And actually, I'm sure when he watches himself, he's embarrassed. Because when you look at the situation with the Sierra thing, not even the Sierra thing, that's embarrassing. What's embarrassing is the way he handles himself. You are throwing your toys out of the pram, okay, about a promo. Now, first things first, listen, if he felt some type of way about the promo, I would understand. You were not included. It felt hurtful that you were not included. This is probably an emotional wound for him that he's not expressed before, right? That he felt excluded, knowing that he's got emotional issues anyway, right? And I mean that in a mental capacity, just emotional aspect and being how you connect to people. Now, it's probably a wound for you that you don't feel like you belong. And so this was very painful to you. Now, it wouldn't have been a problem if you expressed this to Athena and say, hey, look, you know what? I do feel left out, and it's actually very painful that I'm being left out, you know, because it makes me feel like, you know, that they don't respect our relationship, our marriage. It makes me feel like I'm not worthy or whatever you feel like. You know what I'm saying to you? That's a real response, you know, because you feel that kind of way. What's not a real response is taking your ring off and then putting it on the counter desk, knowing where she'll see it. Okay, and then saying how you're not, unless they put you in a promo, you're not coming back. Who are you holding to ransom? You're holding your wife to ransom over a situation that she's not even controlling? That tells me you're immature. You're not even focused on the right person who you're meant to be even attacking. If you want to attack somebody, attack the show. They're the ones who get to determine who's in the promo. So that just showed me first and foremost that this person here, if it comes to any issue in your relationship, he will always blame you, regardless of how it goes, because he does not know how to see that the situation isn't you. And so this kind of person is also somebody I believe who self-sabotages, but I also believe also at the same time that when things go wrong in their life, they look at other people. They don't look at themselves. They don't look at what they have to be accountable for. They don't look at what they can contribute to be better in. And they consistently, and if you listen to him very carefully, he's a little child. Listen to him very carefully. The child in him, and when I say child, not all of him, there's some aspects of him that have not grown because they're stuck in the child perspective. What I mean by that is his pain, which a lot of us have, by the way, but his is on a very extreme level, is he needs to be heard every single time. And whenever he's not feeling heard, he will listen to you, he will tell you, I'm not being heard, I'm not being heard, I'm not being heard. Bro, you've been talking, but we're not hearing what you're saying. You're making points, but we don't understand where you're going. So he's not as clear cut with what he's trying to say. He wants to say something, but I don't know if he has the words and the vocabulary to really fully exercise what he really feels. So I think it gets lost in translation. This is not an excuse, so I think this means just explaining how he behaves. I was very disappointed. I thought I was manipulative to leave your ring on the counter. Go for it, Elsie.
I think here's my thought with Adrian, and in listening to what the gentleman had to say, I think with Adrian, I know the twin thing is for real, okay? And I think when he's like, I'm not being heard, I'm not being heard, I wonder how long Adrian has been without his twin brother. And I'm wondering if he's always felt heard by his twin. So now not having someone hear him is really, really irritating him and causes this outburst. That's my thought and wonder. Because if you have a twin and y'all are always together, you always have someone who will hear you, understand how you feel. Y'all have always been together. But now I'm here by myself. And I'm not handling this very well. At least Athena with her twin sister, she's gone through motherhood without her sister. She's gone through life phases without her sister. So I'm wondering if Adrian's individuality is really not what's coming out, but it's coming out in a very harsh way. He just doesn't know how to handle it. But I would ask him, how long have you lived, or how long of a break have you had and distance from your brother or from your family for that matter? I'm wondering. It could be separation anxiety in some form. Any other thoughts, gentlemen, about Adrian and Athena?
I'll just say it's going to be interesting to see now that Sierra's not there to distract him. It'll be interesting to see how he reacts and copes. I don't see him growing into love with Athena, but I want to see if he lashes out at her for Sierra not being there, and now his focus has to be completely on Athena and their relationship. So it'd be interesting to see how he manages now. I suspect there's going to be more tension and turbulence. He comes across as a big kid, a big child. Like you say, maybe he doesn't articulate himself the way he wants to, but he doesn't do himself any favors. All right. So Athena, I think she needs to wake up and realize this is not the guy. I know you were paired with him, but you've tried to make it work. You've been emotional. You've been vulnerable. You've tried to be accommodating as well. But ultimately, this guy is just a problem. Yeah, and if he's the type of person where if he's feeling you like he is with Sierra, he'll play these kinky games and try and see what can happen. But the fact that he's doing that while he's with Athena speaks volumes. So I think Athena needs to definitely consider whether it's worth sticking it out. I don't think it is, but it's up to her, obviously, to write leave. And hopefully he decides to not prolong it by picking stay to stay on another week and see what that can do for his future career, whatever else. He's not doing himself any favors. He has to remember the audience are very visceral in the way that they attacked people like Adrian. So these opportunities that he thinks he might have, they're not even going to be there based on how you've conducted yourself.
Don't count Sierra out, because we have had seasons past of Married at First Sight where a groom left and he still ended up having a relationship with a bride that was still on the show. So while I agree with you, I don't think we would count Sierra out based on history, but it definitely, I think for Athena, and where I sympathize with her is she came out of a long-term relationship. So for her, it may be you got to work in the relationship and stay there for as long as you can and try and work it out. That's where I'm thinking Athena is, commitment. Once she is committed, she is committed. But girl, don't be committed so long that you may end up having to be committed. Okay? Y'all, thank you so much for joining us. Kojo did have to depart, but we had a wonderful conversation. Thank you to Kojo. Thank you to Life is Reality. This is our weekly recap of Married at First Sight Australia. Please hit the like on all of our channels. Subscribe. Let us know in the comments below, what are your thoughts? And if you wish to see the show, just search Married at First Sight, MAFS, Australia on YouTube, and you will see all of the episodes right there. But thank you again for joining us, and we'll see you next week. Please come back, because it's getting even hotter. We'll see you next week.